Speaking of pains of the league,
Yeah, growing
look at
pains
this
of a
clown.
league.
This shot.
Look at this clown show.
Let's rewrite this tweet. This shot was incredible until it was
hold on.
marred by you know what.
James. Okay, so if for those who don't know what we're looking
They
at,
already heard about it.
They've probably already heard about it. Yeah. So the Chant made its way into a Major League Soccer stadium yet again, but this time undeniably in an MLS stadium. So from my understanding, it didn't come from the supporter section. So let's shout that out because I don't want to be talking shit with a picture of the supporter section behind me.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, it's messed up. Like we've talked about the Chant before. It's just stupid. It's literally stupid. That it like, even if your argument was to be like heritage, at this point, it's made enough people mad that to do it is to make them mad, is the point.
It should be interesting how to see how MLS reacts to this. I mean, I'm not suspecting they're gonna do like an empty stadium for San Diego. Maybe if it continues.
That's an option. Again, holy cow!
But here's one thing though. I get that San Diego's a new team, but I wonder how many El Tri fans are actually showing up to see Chucky Lozano.
That's right.
So
Chucky's having to hear that. I mean, like, is Chucky going to make a comment? Maybe they have Chucky come out and say something to the crowd.
I believe he might have after the game. I'm ignorant to whether he has or has not, but I felt like I saw something.
Let's be honest. Every time the U.S. and Mexico play in a final, we always hear the chant.
Yep.
And it's not coming from the U.S. fans either.
Well, here's the thing, though. Let me interject just a split second. I apologize. So during that's easy to like sweep under the rug because it's a singular match. It's a singular moment.
Yeah.
This is not going to be easy to sweep under the rug if it continues to happen.
Well, and that if it happens all the time, eventually the league's gonna have to force the club to make statements, which I believe they did. But they're also gonna start twisting their arm, like, hey, you gotta cut this out because we're gonna make you play in an empty stadium.
Well, would they? I mean, what is the protocol here? What is when is time to implement a harsh enough punishment to quote unquote try to stamp this out? And this sucks. This was their home opener.
But,
this is their first ever match at home.
How do you stamp this out?
It's hard to stamp it out because again, this is a first year team.
Right.
I think the MLS is gonna give them a lot of leadway.
They're gonna have to tiptoe around this. That's right.
MLS is gonna give them a lot of leadway. I won't be surprised if nothing comes out of it. I'm sure.
But that's also on the owners too. The owners are deciding. They're also deciding to toe certain lines, and if they take a hardline stance against this, that might go as far as saying something and maybe causing it to end, because maybe it's going to come down to the owners to actually try and put a stance on this, because of course MLS wants to be successful. Of course these owners want to be a success, but at what point are you asking yourself, what are our principles here?
That's the thing. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how the league's going to react. The club, I think, did its due diligence. They put out a statement. But again, how many times have we seen these statements come out after U.S.-Mexico games?
I think, to your point, yes. But I'll say this. I think the most telling thing will be the next home game because, again, like I said, CONCACAF sweeps it under the rug. They pretend not to hear it. They stick their fingers in their ear. There's that game where Mexico got 3 extra points because the game got pushed another 9 to 10 minutes because of their stoppages. It's just a shitty thing, man. It sucks. And I wish people wouldn't do it. But I wish people wouldn't do a lot of shit.
Guys,
whatever.
Let me point something out that's a little strange. Yeah. So typically when a club releases, an MLS club releases a statement, do they often lead with Spanish version first and then the English version? That's just.
Well, no, they did the. It looks like they did the. Yeah, you're what?
Yeah, dude. The original. This is the first tweet. This is the second tweet. So they led. They led with. I mean,
it kind of goes.
That's
it kind of goes back.
How often does that happen? Just an observer here. Just an observer.
Just an observation too. It kind of goes back to what I was saying when we watch USA versus Mexico finals. You know, in LA when they're playing in LA, and you hear the chant. So obviously, it's not coming from the U.S. fans. So, I mean, I guess in a sense, the club is trying to cover its bases. You know, hey, if you don't understand one, at least I'm sure you probably understand the other.
To me, I find no significance to the order in which it was tweeted. But I'll put it this way: I believe they definitely tap into their market, which is has a heavy Spanish speaking population, so they're gonna have both on every statement they have. I mean, go look at other statements, go look at player signings. You know what I mean? Let's see what order it's in, but I don't put any weight to that. It's just all digital.
And you also got to understand is a lot of I used to know a couple of people that I had a buddy of mine that lived out in San Diego. And he actually was a Cholos fan from the Tijuana team that played in Liga MX. So he lived in San Diego and he would go to Tijuana to go watch the Cholos.
Tijuana was San Diego's team.
Yeah,
that's why they were hoping that this is why it's a good market to put a team.
Yeah,
and so like when maybe both teams are good enough to be in the CONCACAF Champions League, that match hits, but I don't want to say I sound like a hypocrite, but it's just like we're really at a stalemate. Could MLS have really said, forget it, after your first home game, you now play a game behind closed doors?
They
really could have, but they do not have the nuts for it. So it's like, we got to keep it. We just got to see what happens next time. And then when that's not the end all be all, but then it's like, then we know what severity level to reach. I guess I'll put it that way.
Right. Yeah. So as far as the club, maybe not stepping up enough,